Hi guys, welcome to Making Joyful Journals. I'm Anna G. Today I'm working on a trashy to classy junk journal. I'm going to call this episode 2 because this is the first one that I had worked on, and I'll try to link the other video where I started working on this particular junk journal. I'm calling this a true junk journal because I'm trying to do this with no craft tools per se, just junk. Just truly the things that, like everything in this entire book, could have been thrown away. That's how I'm trying to look at this. And so, as you can see, I used all kinds of stuff. I had a lot of perfume and cologne boxes. I had toothpaste boxes. I had food wrappers. I had just random pieces of ephemera, like this Dunkin' little bag was holding my creamer when I had purchased some coffee. And so it's just a lot of just trash. And I was trying to make it be classy, not so trashy as you might think that all of this could just be thrown away. So I'm trying to find ways of taking my trash and making them into a journal. And so that's what I did here. This particular journal is not sewn in. I used elastic, and I want to say that's probably one of the few things that I actually had to not use from the trash. I didn't have any elastic that I was going to throw away. So that was one element that I had in my stash that I'm using. But I have a lot of envelopes from the mail, junk mail. I'm sure that if you are in a home where you get mail, bills, and so forth, then you probably get a lot of junk mail as well. And these, like, for example, that little flyer there at the bottom where it had the little tulips, that was from a piece of trash mail. And this is a cake box. Now, this is interesting because this was a diamond art kit I had gotten on Dollar Tree. And then all the extra pieces, I turned them into a shaker. I just tossed them all into this little baggie and taped it onto the back of that. It was, I think, a sticker packaging, and turned it into a shaker. And again, I just tried to incorporate either old pieces of scrapbook paper that I was going to throw away because it wasn't really my favorite style, or like that was a Valentine's bag, a Valentine's sack, and that was a leftover. Now, most of the trash that I use, I'm kind of snobby with my trash. I don't know if you are. I try to find things that had no type of food residue on them at any kind. So a lot of the things I have were from packaging from Dollar Tree that were from the craft section, or maybe even cleaning supplies or things like that, things that did not have any food in them. Or if they did have food, they were in another sack, a sealed package, just like cereal usually is. Cereal usually is not just in the box directly. It's usually in a plastic bag that's sealed. Then the cereal box is on the outside. So I try to use things like that. And I even was able to tie a couple of little tags on the outside on the elastic. Now I started this one. I have now just a cover. And that one was from... Let me show you my stash here. I have been holding on to this stuff for probably over a year. All of the different things that, every time you go to the grocery store and you're buying something that you're using for food or you're using it in the kitchen, that's from lens cleaners, a little baggie, envelopes that came from a can of pineapple, just anything that I thought I could save and use. I love color, and so a lot of these things have either really nice images on them or a nice color. And that right there, that little piece of paper actually came from a handle from a bag. And then I have receipts, I have little tags from clothing, I had a piece of felt. So literally everything in this pile could be considered garbage, just things that you throw in the trash. But as a junk journaler, it's like, I'm going to find a use for it. I'm going to find something really nice. Now, hold on. I've got another pile here. Okay, here. I've got another box full of wrappers. That one was a random piece of, I can't even think, a ribbon, and from a hair tie. Again, I have sticker packaging, lots of sticker packaging, and even this box that I'm holding can be used as well. And I even have some random packaging. And then I think I had some wrapping paper in there too, like that someone had given me a gift. And I had kept the wrapper, the outside gift wrapping. And then I have some bubble wrapping. I have some Christmas wrapping. I had another box in there, and just random receipts, random tags. Again, this was part from a perfume box, and then I've got that cracker box also. And then this was the one that kind of like was on my nerves all the time, because I've been holding on to this since before Christmas. This brown paper bag, the packaging, it looks terrible. And it was just sitting there in the corner of my room, and I'm going like, I need to do something with this, and I don't want to throw it away. So you're going to see what I do with that paper. And then I found more. I found a few pieces of stationery, some paper, filler paper, again, packaging for all kinds of stuff. You know, Christmas, you get a lot of packaging. Even when you're like buying gifts for other people, and maybe you take it out of the packaging, you put it in another bag or something, then all of that is just junk. It's like, but it's beautiful junk, right? So it's like, I've got to use all of this stuff in some manner. I had random planner pages. Oh, here, these are all the cutouts from the die cuts I had been making. And I felt like I couldn't throw those away. I had the inside of the envelopes, which are beautiful. I had a few pieces of, that was another piece of a perfume box. I've got old file folders. And again, these are all things that in the normal world, you could just put all that in the trash can and say bye-bye to it. But you know, us as junk journalists, we have to hold on to this stuff and use it, find a way to use it. So this paper here, it's kind of thin, but I'm going to use it to make pages. And you're going to see what I do with it. And I'll talk a little bit more about it. And I'm trying to see, can I cover the whole cover with it? I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, but we'll see what happens. So here's what I did. I took the ironing board out. I took out the iron, and I more or less ironed all of it, pressed all of it flat, cut it into pages that I thought were going to fit in this book. And I kind of overshot the width of the pages. So I'm going to have to trim those down. And I'm using some paper clips. No, not paper clips, clothespins. And I'm going to go ahead and just hack off that little 1/2 inch off the side off of all of them, because I want to be able to add like tabs on the side and things to be hanging on the side. So I wanted to narrow that down a little bit. And then I have this is more trash right there. Who knows what I'll do with that? I might hold on to it. I might just throw it all in the trash. But you know how it is. It's like, if I can find a way to use it. Now, here are some extra pieces because they weren't big enough to make a page. But I didn't throw those away, because in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, maybe I can make some envelopes out of this. But then I would like some more pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to more or less put them all together and glue them all together and use it as a page. And what's really nice about it is that it's reinforced because it's more than one layer. And granted, there are holes in it, but you kind of block the holes by adding more paper. So it's kind of like a paper mache project and trying to make a page. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all of that down. And if I haven't said so already, the reason I wanted to continue working on this series is because I had been watching other YouTubers, and I can't think of the one that I was watching maybe a couple weeks ago. It was sometime after Christmas. And she had a beautiful junk journal. And she had, I think it was in the color pink. That was like her color theme. And I was reading the comments, and one of the commenters had put down, it's like, well, you know, this is a beautiful junk journal, but I would never be able to afford to make one. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, you can use all kinds of stuff to make a junk journal. I mean, a true junk journal was really, I think, invented because of the fact that whoever was thinking of making this didn't have the funds to really, you know, go out and buy all the beautiful papers, the ribbons, the little tags, the journal cards, everything that normally would go in the making of a journal. So that's why I wanted to do this kind of as like a video response to the fact that you can't afford to make a junk journal. And in this particular case, my goal was to not use anything that I had to purchase specifically for making this. Like, everything here either came in packaging because, I purchased something that I need to use in the kitchen, or I was buying a new appliance, or I was buying a new pair of shoes, or buying a new pair of, something that I was getting for Christmas, or something that I was going to be giving away at Christmas. So packaging of any kind, things that I was cooking around Christmas, because I'm still in the Christmas mood. I know that it's already February, but Christmas is year round for me. I mean, it's important to remember the reason that we celebrate Christmas. And, we have all of this stuff that we get out of Christmas, like the packaging and all of the ribbons and all of that stuff. And so I wanted to incorporate that in my junk journals. So I love making journals where I can pull things out of my stash. I have a great time doing that, but I wanted to give myself a challenge of how can I use things that normally would be tossed and put into things that the world considers trash, and I want to use them and make them have some class, right? So here, because I felt like some of this paper was not strong enough. It just, even though I had like 2 or 3 layers all glued together, there were still some holes or some weak spots. And this particular book, and I don't know if you saw it, the outside spine had already come off. So this was a book that was ready to go in the trash anyways. And the paper by itself is really fragile. Like if I fold it too much, it'll just crack. So I really can't use it to become pages itself within the book, but I can certainly use it kind of like band-aids, or a bandage, or like here, right here, I'm seeing that area is weak, so I'm going to actually just glue some more paper on top of it, and voila, we've got a stronger piece. And this whole piece right here, I think I'm going to use it as an outside cover of one of my signatures. Now, if you're new to the world of junk journaling and you hear us using new terms like signatures, spine, embellishments, ephemera, all of these terms are just fancy terms for other things that are really easy to understand. For example, a signature is just a group of pages that are put together in a booklet. And because the booklet, you make a bunch of little booklets depending on how wide the spine is. And the spine of a book is the outside part of the book that usually is glued. All the pages are glued or sewn into the spine. So a signature is just a group of pages that you fold in half. And as you can see, I'm folding this in half. And that would either be glued in or sewn in, or sometimes it's stapled in like a pamphlet or a brochure. And that's all a signature is. It's not like a signature when you're signing on a check or something like that. It's the same, spelled exactly the same way, but it has a totally different meaning. And so here, this is a 2-page signature. And then see, I have a bunch of pages there. And here's my spine. I'm measuring the spine. This is going to be the outside edge of the book. And this spine is 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to put 6 signatures. That means 6 little booklets. So I'm making my 6 little piles of the pages. And each signature, let's see, I'm not sure how many pages I want to put in each signature. I'm thinking maybe 10 pieces of paper. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my 6 piles. And then I'm going to start dealing out pages so that each pile has roughly the same number. And see, that page right there was kind of torn off on the top. So, and I wanted to show you this. See how wrinkled that is versus this other one? And I did the same thing. I ironed both of them the same thing. Here was the only difference. It was sprayed with water, and that's why it got all wrinkled. Funny, right? So if you're interested in me continuing and videoing these, let me know. Post a comment. Give me a thumbs up. And until I see you the next time, have a great day. Take care. God bless.